Right, let's slow down the engine. Let's slow down now.
All lights are turned off, and the engine set to dead slow to try and avoid attracting attention. This is silent running, Hegatao style. A long, tense hour passes before Kaneda decides they are safe. From here on, piranhas are their biggest worry. After about 400 miles of non-stop sailing, Kaneda finally reaches the beginning of his trading area. Most of Kaneda's business is supplying bulk goods to 2 or 3 shopkeepers based upriver. But he's always ready to do a deal with passers-by. Besides, he'll get a decent price for these shrimp traps back in Abaitatuba. The children are trading for painted clay pots designed to keep drinking water cool in the 104-degree heat. There are no refrigerators here, so Kaneda's pots are very popular. The families who live by the side of the river are known as caboclos. They rely on traders like Kaneda to supply everything they can't make, cook, or grow themselves. And they live so far off the beaten track that money has little significance to them. There are an estimated 2 or 3 million caboclos, but no one really knows. They're spread out over almost a quarter of the country. And there is nothing behind these houses but unexplored forest. On the river, Kaneda undergoes a transformation. Gone is the time and money-obsessed businessman from Abaitatuba. In his place, a happy-go-lucky guy who feels most at home when he's furthest away from everything.
The regatão is a business of freedom. It's not like an office job where people are prisoners of the 9 to 5. You're doing business and at the same time you're having fun. You have leisure and freedom. That's the great regatão life.
After 800 miles, Kaneda has almost reached his destination and his 3 paying customers. But fate has one more surprise in store. Kaneda has had this boat for 15 years. The engine is feeling its age. Kaneda and his crew can do nothing but wait. With the motor back in full working order, Kaneda wastes no time letting his customers know he's on his way.
Hi, Zeca. Zeca, it's Caneta. Yeah, there was a problem with the boat. We've only just got underway. But all your goods are coming. Don't buy from anyone else. We'll be there.
After a month of traveling, Kaneda has finally reached his first paying customer safely. This is where the hard work really begins. Brazil is the world's 5th largest country. It borders every nation in South America except Chile and Ecuador, and its 3.25 million square miles occupy almost half the continent. It's so vast that the distance from one side of Brazil to the other is greater than the distance between Brazil and Africa. But much of this land is inaccessible and inhospitable. Over a third of it is dense jungle. Few of Brazil's 185 million inhabitants venture here. This is the heart of the rainforest, home to some of Brazil's original inhabitants. When the Portuguese arrived in 1500, there were more than 6 million Indians in some 2,000 distinct tribes. Today, their descendants number less than 350,000, fewer people than you'd find in Rio's favelas. Hidden deep in the rainforest are a few elusive tribes who have never made contact with the outside world. But most have integrated into the new Brazil. This tribe, for example, are not applying war paint. They're putting on their soccer shirts.
Ever since I was a little girl, I've wanted to play soccer. My name is Jaqueline Mota Diniz.
No futebol eu gosto de tudo.
I like everything about soccer. Everything. I can't really explain it. Soccer to me is just the best. My boyfriend says I'm a little crazy, but I tell him I'm not. He says I should spend more time with him and play less. Anytime you ask me to play soccer, I'll be there. People say, that girl, for God's sake. But so what? I'll never stop playing soccer. I'm always playing, always practicing.
Rain or shine, whether her teammates are 6 or 60, Jackie just wants to play. Manaus is an oddity. Founded in 1669 to protect the slave traders who hunted Indians along the river, it shot to prominence during the rubber boom of the 1800s. A 1,000 miles from the coast and all but lost in the vastness of the Amazon rainforest, it was once the richest city in South America. So wealthy, its citizens reputedly sent their shirts to be laundered in Paris and built an opera house, the envy of the world. Now it hosts the planet's largest soccer tournament.
São 600 times.
600 teams play during 6 months to win one trophy, the Peladão. Everybody talks about it and everybody gets involved. Everyone here is soccer crazy.
Nowhere is soccer as important as it is in Brazil. It is the nation's only major sport and a way of life for millions of people. No country has won as many World Cups as Brazil. No country has fans as fanatical as Brazil. And nobody plays the game quite like Brazil.
Traditionally, in this tournament, women have only one role, beauty queen. Each team has a beauty queen, but they are not just mascots. If they are chosen by the judges, they will help their team win points.
She's too far away. Isn't she like that other blonde? No, she's not right.
Soccer fan Jackie may live in the home of the world's biggest tournament, but she can't play in it. Her life is demanding. She leaves home at dawn each morning to catch a bus to the center of Manaus. It involves long hours and survival-level wages. Drug dealers and criminals make at least 2 or 3 times as much and get nice clothes, gold watches, and respect. It's hard to resist being sucked into the vicious circle of violence and retribution. It's the morning of the Batizado ceremony, and Boa Gente is getting everybody ready. Jackson has a big decision to make. Does he commit himself to Boa Gente and the tough new regime of capoeira and schooling? Or rejoin his friends in the pursuit of cheap thrills and cash? He decides a new life is worth fighting for.
Come on in, Jackson.
After he started capoeira, he totally changed. He stopped agonizing about his dad. He stopped being so violent. Now he says to me, if it wasn't for Boa Gente, I don't know where I would be.
In capoeira, you have a nickname, a capoeira baptism nickname. And this nickname is chosen based on your behavior. His nickname will be Águia, the eagle, because he's raised himself from the streets.
Eagle. My nickname is Eagle. I think it's a really great name. For me, this is a very cool name.
Jackson is an example. When he started here, he was very traumatized, trying to break everything, kicking and screaming. And today, he is a wonderful person.
Capoeira has definitely changed my life. Because before, we used to mess with cars, insult people in the street, throw stones, and since I started, it's just school, radio, computer course, and capoeira.
Jackson may still live in the favela, but in his own way, he's managed to leave the mean streets of Bahia behind.
E encontra-se aqui, galera, aqui na primeira capital do Brasil, são 9h07, estamos apresentando, e agora vai ter o Águia, vem aí Águia.
Farmácia São Roque, temos cartões telefônico, recarga para celular e filme fotográfico, ligue 346-1455, 346-1455.
Bahia's African roots were integral to the development of Carnival, but it was 700 miles away in Rio, where they turned it into a multi-million-dollar spectacle. In 3 months' time, Mangueira will perform here, the Sambadrome, a purpose-built concrete runway a mile long. Few people outside Brazil realize that the focus of Carnival is an organized competition. The 75,000 spectators that fill the stadium are not just here for the show. They are here to cheer on their team. 14 schools will be marked by a panel of 40 judges on everything from music and lyrics to costume design and choreography. And the judges will be on the lookout for anyone who isn't up to the job. This could be her. Luciana Chavez has arranged to join Mangueira for the very first time.
I've always been curious about Carnival. I often watch it on television and say to myself, one day I'll take part in this.
Each year, the Rio Samba schools allow a small number of outsiders to take part in exchange for much-needed funds. Today, Brazil is the largest Catholic nation on earth, with more than 145 million believers. Luciana is Roman Catholic, she speaks Portuguese, and she's as Brazilian as they come. But to the tight-knit Rio Samba schools, anyone from outside the community is regarded as a foreigner.
I am Brazilian, so I share the Carnival culture, but I wasn't born into it.
That will have to change. Outsiders are a gamble for the Samba schools. Anyone who doesn't understand the traditions of Carnival could cost them valuable points. Luciana comes from as far from Carnival culture as you can get in Brazil, yet her home is the nation's capital, Brasilia. Luciana is among the first generation born in Brasilia. This modern purpose-built city was only constructed in the late 1950s. 2.25 million people live here, many employed by the government. Over just 3 years, Brasilia was created out of nothing on an empty, uninhabited plateau 700 miles inland, in an attempt to bring people and money into Brazil's interior. They built it in the middle of scrubby grassland called Cerrado, which covers nearly 800,000 square miles, 3 times the size of Texas. Cerrado means closed in Portuguese, and for hundreds of years that's exactly what Brazil's interior was. It was an expensive gamble. But the gamble paid off. Slowly, agriculture and cattle farming took hold, nowhere more so than in Sao Paulo state. The land 300 miles to the south of Brasilia was once Cerrado too. Now it is at the heart of Brazil's ranching industry. Brazil is the world's biggest producer of beef. There are more than 200 million cattle here, the biggest herd in the world. That's the equivalent of 1 bull or 1 cow for every single Brazilian, and 20 million left over. Not all Brazil's beef production is this intensive. Most remains unmechanized, so it's no surprise that Brazil also has more cowboys than anywhere on earth. Many of Brazil's cowboys work on farms like this one, Botucatu, in the rolling green meadows of Sao Paulo state. All 400 acres are run single-handed by 24-year-old Rodrigo Ferreira de Souza. He doesn't own this place. He's just a poor cowhand. A cowhand who dreams of becoming a rodeo rider. Brazil is wild about rodeo. Each year, the professional rodeo circuit holds 1,800 events, with more than 10,000 professional riders and some 50,000 amateurs. All the bulls on this farm are bred and trained for rodeo. Some of the more famous ones are worth more than $50,000. Yet of the 6 million young adults who work on Brazilian cattle farms, 1/3 are lucky to earn $6 a week. Cowboys, or peões as they're called, barely break even. Housing and food are provided, but the cost is deducted from their pay. Rodrigo is lucky. He's well paid and his living conditions are good. But his boss lives in the city, so Rodrigo lives alone on the farm.
Well, there's not much to do in the middle of nowhere. I stay in, rest up, and of course, check on the bulls. And I ride them. I try to train in my spare time, if I can. People say it's madness, but what can I say? I've got this crazy dream.
Rodrigo's dream is to become a professional bull rider. Luckily, his boss supports his ambitions, letting him practice on the farm. He also provides Rodrigo with free board and lodging. But this job still has its costs.
I used to have a girlfriend, but it finished. You can't have a relationship from this far away. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's just no way.
Rodrigo's had plenty of time and space to get used to being on his own. But a few times a month, when the rodeo truck comes to pick up the bulls, Rodrigo gets to go too. Sao Paulo State is the heartland of Brazil's ranching interior. It covers 96,000 square miles, about the size of Oregon. 45% of Brazil's $1 trillion gross national product is generated here. Rodrigo's heading north to the annual rodeo at Novo Horizonte, Portuguese for New Horizon. For Rodrigo, a fitting destination. Rodrigo's boss is well respected on the rodeo circuit. He's arranged for Rodrigo to enter his first big competition.
Tonight I'm hoping for a good ride, despite the fact that the bull is not a good one. We'll just have to see what happens. There's not that much difference between me and the other riders. We all have to start somewhere.
In Brazil, rodeo is big business. Sao Paulo state holds the biggest rodeo event in the world, in the town of Barretas. One of Brazil's most popular TV soap operas brought rodeo to the attention of the whole nation. Now, country music is catching on, and so is cowboy fashion.
Senhora Aparecida do Brasil, ilumina as estrelas na arena, mãe. Obrigado, senhora.
Rodrigo stands little chance of winning. He just wants to notch up enough good rides to be invited to join the Confederation of Rodeo Riders. Then he stands a chance of making bull riding a career. But it will be an ordeal by fire.
Novo Horizonte 2005.
To score points, riders have to stay on the bull for just 8 seconds. But few of them succeed. Bull riding is the world's most dangerous organized sport. Every event brings broken bones, head injuries, and worse. One rider after another goes down injured. The show stops abruptly as the competitor before Rodrigo is carried hastily from the arena. But the show must go on. And then it is time. Enough. Clarissa returns to the hangar. She has no idea how it went. The next day, the results are posted at Sao Paulo's main airport. Clarissa adds her scores. She passed with flying colors. "300 miles away in Rio, would-be samba dancer Luciana is preparing for a test of a different kind. In Rio de Janeiro, 20% of the population, over 1 million people, live in favelas. But unlike shanty towns and other Brazilian cities, these rub shoulders with wealthier districts. Luciana's excited about her first dance rehearsal with the Mangueira Samba School. She's also nervous about entering an area with such a violent reputation. Her hometown of Brasilia doesn't have favelas. She's never been anywhere like this before, especially after dark.
Going into the favela was nerve-wracking, even though all our cities have problems with violence. But when I arrived, I could see that the people on the streets were dressed for a party, in a party mood, already full of carnivals.
Carnival marks the start of Lent, a period of 40 days when Catholics are expected to abstain from eating flesh, or more symbolically, shun the pleasures of the flesh. After 40 days of Lent, it is Easter. In a small mining town in the mountains of Minas Gerais, the rites of Easter haven't changed for 300 years. In the 18th century, the discovery of gold in the mountains made Ouro Preto one of the richest towns in Brazil. But the gold was gone in a century. And all that remains of that wealth is 13 ornate Baroque churches. The most lavish is the Church of Pilar, adorned with almost 1,000 pounds of gold. It is the centerpiece of the ceremonies of Holy Week, culminating in Easter. And 11-year-old Lais Lopez wants this Easter to be special.
I like to dress up during Holy Week, Easter and Carnival in lots of different costumes. During Holy Week and Easter, I wear angel costumes, and during Carnival, I wear other costumes. These were the first little wings I wore. My mom bought me these wings. Since I was very young, my mom's been buying me angel costumes. When I was 9 years old, my mother got remarried and moved to the countryside to be with her new husband, and I came here to live with Granny. This is my mom's favorite dress. This is the one I'm going to wear this year. And we bought these big wings especially to go with the dress.
Excelente, muito boa, ajuda bastante. Gente, pra ajudar, né? Eu tenho. A Vanessa, a Karina. Bom, minha vida com minha avó é muito boa, me dá bem.
My life with Granny is very nice. We get on really well. Sometimes we argue a bit, but everything always ends up okay. I like her and she likes me, and I will be living with her until I'm grown up.
Trabalho e vou ficar morando com ela.
The 3 most crucial days of Holy Week are known as the Holy Triduum: Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday, a celebration of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. On the evening of Holy Thursday, a priest washes the feet of 12 boys, just as Christ washed the feet of his disciples before the Last Supper, even though he knew one of them would betray him. Holy Thursday is all about betrayal.
Meu pai, ele é daqui de Ouro Preto.
My dad lives here in Ouro Preto. He owns 3 hotels. My dad doesn't live with us. He's separated from my mom, but I really like him. I often go to his house, and I get on with him very well. I get on well with my mom and my dad.
Since the gold ran out, tourism is precious to Ouro Preto. Designated a World Heritage Site in 1980, it lures a steady stream of visitors. Yet their money is a trickle of the wealth that flowed from the mines. But on Easter Sunday, the town will be packed. The cobbled streets will be adorned with colored carpets made from sawdust and flowers. And thousands of people will watch a biblical pageant parade across them. For the first time, Laís will help lay the groundwork for the pageant.
Eu quero fazer tapete esse ano porque
I really want to make a carpet this year, to do my own design, so that on Sunday my mom and dad can come and see it.
minha mãe e meu pai podem vir.
It will probably be quite difficult because I've never had a chance to make a carpet before.
Mas quero muito tentar.
But I want to try and do something really special.
Good Friday marks the saddest chapter of the Easter story. A 300-year-old statue of Christ, made of plaster and wood, with real human hair is taken down from feet outside the Sambadrome. It's chaotic. In the gathering area known as the Concentração, 4,500 Mangueira dancers struggle into their costumes and find their places. Luciana looks for the other fruit sellers. Not easy in the sea of pink and green. The humid atmosphere is heavy with the heat of excitement and anticipation. Mangueira, Brazil's oldest and most distinguished samba school, has gone 4 years without a win. They have 90 minutes to turn it around.
I'm feeling happy, full of adrenaline, full of emotion. And I know this is just the beginning. I'm only at the start of it. Once I'm in the middle of the parade, it's going to be overwhelming.
A barrage of fireworks is Mangueira's cue to enter the Sambadrome. The massed drums of the bateria launch into the deafening rhythm of samba. And then the tune that Luciana knows so well kicks in. Just 12 weeks after arriving in Rio as a novice, Luciana makes her entrance onto the most famous stage in Brazil. It starts well. Then Luciana has a serious wardrobe malfunction. Her wings keep knocking her hat off. Whatever happens, Luciana has to keep dancing, keep singing, and keep smiling. Not just for herself, but for the good of the entire school. As far as the crowd is concerned, that was a winning performance. Champions, they shout. Champions. For Luciana, it's a triumph. But as she finds herself back out on the street, it's hard to put her feelings into words.
I'm so pleased I did it, to actually be here. This is like a fantasy for Brazilians, but it's so real. And it just shows anyone can do it. Anyone is special enough to take part. Anyone can be transformed here.
The American dream is to transform yourself into whatever you want. The Brazilians share that dream, but for them, the transformation is often fleeting. One moment of perfection counts for more than a lifetime of quite good. In sport, in art, in business, in life, they live for the moment. These ideas of inversion and transformation are at the heart of Carnival. Night becomes day. The poor become rich. The plain become glamorous, and the world's biggest party becomes a serious competition. These notions of inversion and transformation are central to all our stories. A civil servant became a carnival queen. A cowhand became a rodeo star. A student became a pilot. A schoolgirl became an angel. And a life without hope became a life without limits. All in a country where a shoeshine boy became president. This is the spirit of Brazil.